If every member of the APC just gave the party 100 naira, that's 1.5 billion. Just 100 naira a month, which I believe almost everyone can afford. That's 1.5 billion. It's enough to run the party. We had aspirations of that nature. We had dreams of a real, ideologically driven, progressive political party. But today it is something else. If you look at the life cycle of the PDP, it was similar. They all end up becoming a one-man show. No collegiate leadership, no democratic leadership, no internal democracy. And the parties always get pocketed by those elected on the platform of the party. So if you look at what Professor Olukoshi outlined as the key issues to look out for in a party, ideology. What is the ideology of the APC? I don't know. We said we are progressive, but we are not progressive anymore. Okay? What about a societal project? What is our big societal project? I've mentioned the three. But now, if you ask people that were elected on the platform of the APC, they will say, I wanted to be governor. I wanted to be president. I wanted to. No, nobody talks about a national project, societal project anymore. It's about me. Me, myself, and I. What about manifesto? When was the last time you saw the manifesto of a political party in Nigeria? The last one I remember was the one we drafted in 2007 for the PDP. Okay? Since then, the PDP has never produced any manifesto. We did one at the formation of the APC, a very detailed one in 2015. But since then, nothing. The other parties, I don't even know. I haven't seen anything resembling a manifesto. What about membership? Members want to take from the party rather than contribute to the party. So we are in a serious crisis because these political parties are...
Is God not patient? In Yoruba, we will say, Oloma kú sùúrù. Listen to Elrufai, sounding like a normal human being. Elrufai of Kaduna Little Finger. The most divisive political personnel in that contraption. The man that turned terrorism into business in Nigeria today. Elrufai, the man that brought the idea of a Muslim ticket in a state like Kaduna, a man that was pushing and pushed Sharia in Kaduna, a supposed educated former federal minister that is so divided, those so divisive, that you think the people of Southern Kaduna, they deserved the kind of program charged at them by the Fulani terrorists. The Fulani terrorists that this man commercialized in Kaduna. The same Elrufai that fronted for this Tifnumbu, the same Elrufai that was nominated as a minister and got disgraced by being the only one rejected by the Akpabiole Senate. The same Elrufai. Suddenly, after all he did as Kaduna governor, after all he did as well in foisting Boko Haram on you, the same Elrufai today is a patriot. And Tifnumbu that turned all of them to Alimajiri, that turned them to internally displaced politician, is on the other side now. And now, Elrufai cannot understand the APC anymore. Elrufai, one-man battalion in Kaduna, a guy that single-handedly promoted religious division in Kaduna. A man who said that the Christian vote in Kaduna is inconsequential, and he was going to choose a Muslim, and he will run a Muslim ticket in Kaduna because Kaduna is an Islamic state. The same Elrufai, educated Elrufai. Oloma kusuru gani o. But here we are. This is when they all are going to be united. Here you get. Because last, you are either in or you are out. There is no in between. So right now, Elrufai, Atifku, Amaechi, and many others like that, they are forming what is called coalition. Unfortunately, they themselves knows that even the people they are sitting with, right, they all have a divided interest. No, personal interest, divided interest, or join. Strange bedfellows. Oma were interesting. Trust me. Let me quickly say a big thank you to this, my man. Olumide Akinwumi, Baba. Thank you very much. Yeah, Baba. Today is my birthday, my 41st. So very kind of you. Thanks so much for the super chats. God bless you, Baba. Thank you so much. Now let's go again. Elrufai.
Important. But what is the state of political parties today? I will give my own views of what I have seen in the last 2 years. The PDP, which is one of the largest and perhaps the oldest political party in this republic, is clearly targeted for destruction. It's a matter of time. There are internal mercenaries in the PDP that have been hired, paid, or otherwise motivated to destroy the party. So the party is on its way to the grave. Okay? And it's most unfortunate because His Excellency, the former Vice President, was explaining how politicians came together, essentially, put aside their differences to drive away the military. Most of these politicians ended up in the PDP. So the PDP actually represented the best of our politicians that fought for restoration of democracy. Forget those that make the most noise, but ran away from the country. Those that went to prison, those that were detained, all ended up in the PDP. Those were the real politicians that faced the military. But today, none of the founding fathers of the PDP can recognize it. Labour Party, again, targeted for destruction. And it's almost certain. The last time I had a conversation with Peter Obi himself, he admitted to me that he doesn't know what is happening in the party that he contested for president. So there seems to be a project to destroy all the opposition political parties. And the only option for the opposition, in my view, is to put aside their differences and come together and create a broad platform that will do the driving of the military again, because we are there almost. So, Your Excellency, we need your experience and skills.
The film, since the beginning of 2025, I know it is not just me. I have observed something, and I want you to tell me if you have observed it as well. Have you noticed that almost at every political gathering, they have been flying this flag of Tinubu controls the opposition parties. Tinubu wants to break all the opposition parties. All opposition parties have been paid. Opposition parties, the internal scuffle, the internal problems they are having is sponsored by Tinubu. They, almost everyone has been flying that flag. So, and I don't know, because this is, you know, this is politics, right? This is political now. That automatically gives, or it is giving this vibe that to chase Tifnumbu away, the only way to do that is to float a brand new political party where everyone interested in forming a sort of a coalition like what they did in 2014 for APC. You know, they are like muting that idea. Peter Obi says it doesn't even recognize his Labour Party anymore. PDP is finished. As you can see, the majority of the founding fathers are not there, blah, 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 blah. Which other political party? So they have been flying that. And somehow, I don't know if I'm giving Tifnumbu too much credit to. I may be wrong, but something tells me that his guys or himself or people around him, they are behind this agenda. So that, first, discredit all the existing political parties and make it more like their internal problems can never be resolved. Nothing anybody can do. So you need to go and start another party. So while they were busy trying to figure out the conditions of this their new party, how they are going to share power, who is going to be presidential candidates, they won't have time to challenge the dissolution of INEC, to challenge the constitution, to challenge the electoral act, to put Tifnumbu on a pedestal that, put him on notice that wahala and ball. Can you get that kind of thing? So since they won't be able to, they will be busy, right? Trying to figure out how to start a party. And by the time 2027 comes, right? They will say it is because they did not agree on what name, what conditions. It was too short. Another blah, blah, blah. That was why Tifnumbu was able to also rig them again. I don't know. I've been trying to play that hypothesis in my head. Like, almost everybody has something to say about the existing party. Yeah, they cannot. PDP is, which is true. Don't get me wrong, but it's pretty much like they can't even use the parties, right? Okay, put it this way. In their 2024 road to form APC, Tifnumbu was with ACN, remember? And ACN, I think they had about 7 or 8 governors. They had, was it 8 or 6? No, 6 governors. 6 states. They had 18 senators or 19. They had about 40 to 50 House of Rep members. Yeah. Then you have the CPC of Bukwari, who also had, I think they had 2 state governors from the north. And they also had about 16 or 17 House of Rep members, I think about 8 or 6 senators. Then those who claim to be new PDP, like Atiku, Saraki, and others, they call themselves new PDP. I think they also brought in like about 6 governors. That was Amaechi and Co. About 6 or 7 governors. So by the time they formed the APC, they already have like half of the Senate. They already had like more than half of the reps, House of Reps. They had over 18 governors. The moment so right now, if you take a look at these ones, right, they are just individuals. Peter Obi, Labour, who else? Elrufai, SDP is not APC per se. Atiku is Atiku. Even Atiku is state governor in Adamawa, is not with Atiku. So those who claim to be PDP governors, more than half of them, they are with Tifnumbu. You get that? So that's the difference. So I don't know. I've been playing it in my head, and it kind of continue to make it more, sort of, practical or sort of projectable somehow, right? You can easily just say, what's going to then happen in their 2027 charade? They will scream and scream and scream. They'll get rigged out, and the people will get played you. I just hope that that is where they will get it wrong. Yeah, I mean, not that they won't rig you, but the fact that they will rig you and they know that nothing will happen, then maybe they will be wrong, and then something will happen, and then everything will just like scatter. I don't know, maybe imagination won't wound me, kind of. Sue Berry. Sue, thank you. Thank you so much for that. That is very kind of you. And the same thing goes to Aoki, 360 degree. Aoki, is it Aoki? Thank you so much as well. God bless you for your generosity. So everyone is feeling generous this evening, which is great. You know, thank you so much for the super chats. All right. Most importantly, to everyone that is sharing the broadcast, liking it, and all that. That too is really, really important. So as you are joining us, remember to like the broadcast, like it, share it, right? So the hypothesis of what is really going on, in my own view, right? The other part is this.
Question of forcing people to step down on the day of the convention and so on should be out of the window. Let people contest and know that they won. And let those that have lost know that they lost. To try again. We must have internal democracy in our parties. And I think, and I found this out when I went back to Kaduna to contest for governor, I realized that the most important qualification for being a political stakeholder, at least in Kaduna State, was to be an illiterate. You are an illiterate, but you are very, very cunning. That's political stakeholder. We have to change it. We must have minimum qualifications. This politics is about leadership. You produce leaders through this political process. You cannot afford to have illiterates, semi-illiterates, cunning people, and so on as your leaders. You will end up with what we have. So the parties must have a standard. The Constitution may say, that if you have a secondary school certificate or you've attended secondary school, you can be president. Yeah. That's a minimum. But it doesn't mean that the parties cannot have a standard higher than that for the leadership of the parties. Because it is the leadership of the parties that vote in congresses and conventions to produce the candidates. So when you have low quality party leaders, they are the delegates, you have low quality candidates. And you end up with a beauty contest consisting of only very ugly women. Okay? Because elections, in my view, are very similar to a beauty contest. You can only vote for the person that is on the ballot. You cannot vote for the best person. You can only vote for a person if he's on the ballot. And it is these so-called delegates, the party leaders, that vote to produce that candidate. So, if they are of low quality, do not expect them to produce a candidate of any question of forcing.
He's right. If you go to Nigeria, you see, the majority of you who are, sometimes you are like shocked. You know, you are so surprised when you see the characters who are your senators, who are your reps. And you are like, how did this one become a candidate? Where did this one come from? Who are those? Because those of you who are carrying about a plastic called the voter's card, you are only waiting for the candidates that will appear on the ballots. But there are other people who are more powerful than you. Very, very influential people. Those are the people called the delegates in Nigeria. They are the ones that you have to pay. You have to pay them before they can select you at the party level. These guys, every 4 years, it is business for them. So if you want to run for any office, you first thing you have to buy them. You have to pay them huge amount of money. And whoever pays them more will become the candidate. Now that one, all of them go have to like shovel in between to become your elected officials. Just, you know what I mean? So these are the people that run political parties in Nigeria. Forget about those ones that parade themselves as national leaders, national working committee, this and that. The people that determines who is going to be your candidate, who are those who are going to be your candidate in their charade election, they are called delegates. Most of them are illiterates. Every 4 years, they will give them $200, $300.